Tanks are going to be losing power for this patch due to a bunch of item nerfs. Yasuo, Gangplank, and Ekko are all on the buff list, while Diana Jungle is getting hit with a pretty big nerf to her monster damage. All this and so much more as we provide you guys with all the details on every single change that's going to be hitting live servers for patch S1.4, which is going to drop this upcoming Thursday, February 20th. And as a quick heads up, our subscribers are absolutely loving our new daily guides over at Steelcaps for the new season. Whenever our challengers and researchers find new strategies, builds, or basically anything we think is going to help you climb, we immediately create a guide and upload it that same day. This ensures you're going to get challenger insights the moment they find them with absolutely no delays, and you get any questions answered too. We started doing these unedited guides to guarantee our subscribers stay ahead in real time, while the full force of our editors and scriptwriters continue pumping out our premium courses, which take literally hundreds of hours to make, ensuring you get the best of the daily uploads and our signature premium courses as well, to guarantee that you are going to climb this season or your money back. Check us out right after this. So we're going to start off by covering all the item changes, and first we have a small buff to Merc Treads. Cost of Merc Treads is going to be reduced from 1,300 to 1,250 gold. Symbiotic Souls are receiving a small buff as well, with the movement speed being increased from 35 to 40. Abyssal Mask has been a staple magic resist pickup on many champs, so it's getting tapped down a bit for this patch, with its magic resist being lowered from 50 to 45. The shield that you get from Fimbulwinter is going to have reduced scaling, as the base shield is dropping from 100 scaling to 180 to just 100 flat. Heartsteel users won't be getting quite as tanky for S1.4, as the damage to max health conversion on the passive is dropping from 10 to 8%. The vast majority of League players can absolutely rejoice about this next change, as plated Steelcaps is going to have its attack damage reduction lowered from 12 to 10%. Unending Despair is going to have some of its damage removed, as the base damage on the passive is going from 8 scaling to 15 to 0, so it's now only the bonus health ratio that's going to provide the damage. ADC mains are really going to be liking this next one, as Infinity Edge will have its cost lowered by 150 gold, while its AD is being reduced from 70 to 65. From a gold efficiency standpoint, this is a small nerf due to 5 AD being worth 175 gold, but to be honest, a 25 loss in gold value for the item being 150 gold cheaper definitely going to be a win in our eyes, as being able to complete IE a bit faster more often should outweigh the 25 loss in gold value. Ashe had fallen below a 48% win rate, while her play rate has dropped under 5%, so she's being thrown a bone for S1.4. QAD ratio is being increased from 110 scaling to 130% to 111 scaling to 135%. WAD ratio is going up from 100 to 110%. Our base damage is going to see a boost as well, being increased by 50 damage at all ranks. Ekko is going to receive a buff to his outgoing Q damage, as it's being increased by 10 at all ranks. This could end up benefiting mid lane a little bit more than jungle, if this buff is enough to help alter the breakpoint to when Ekko Q can one-shot the ranged minions. Gangplank is going to be issued a scaling buff, as his AD growth is being increased from 3.7 to 4.2. Jayce is going to be receiving a buff to his ranged W, with the attack speed being increased from 300 to 1000%. Nautilus will have a slightly more threatening all-in moving forward, as his Q base damage is going up by 15 at all ranks. Sion is going to be issued a couple of base stat buffs, as his base armor is going up from 32 to 36, while base health regen is being increased from 7.5 to 9. Despite many tanks being really strong in the meta right now, Sion is one that has struggled more as of recent, so because of the tank item nerfs, Riot's compensating Sion with some direct buffs so he doesn't fall even further in strength. Teemo Jungle could be back on the menu moving forward, as his E bonus damage to monsters is being increased from 125 to 145%. With Infinity Edge changed and a direct buff headed Yasuo's way as well, he's going to be an interesting pick to keep an eye on for S1.4, as his passive crit damage is going to be going up from 90 to 100%. We have a bunch of damage nerfs to Hwei for this patch, as his QW base damage is being lowered by 20 at rank 1, but it's going to stay the same at max rank. WE damage is going down by 5 base at all ranks, while the AP ratio drops from 20 to 15%. And then passive AP ratio is getting hit as well, dropping from 35 to 30%. Kalista continues to be more problematic in the elite tiers of leagues, so despite her weak standing in the majority of elos, she's getting nerfed, with W damage dropping from 14 scaling scaling to 18% max health to 10 scaling to 18% max health. Kogmaw ended up gaining a little bit too much power from the recent attack speed cap buff, so he's being directly nerfed with his Q base damage dropping from 90 scaling to 290 to 80 scaling to 260. Lulu has been arguably the most OP champ in the entire game over the past patch, so Riot has a bunch of nerfs lined up for her. W attack speed is going down by 5% at all ranks, W cooldowns being increased by 1 second at all ranks, and then E base shield is going to be lowered from 80 scaling to 260 to 80 scaling to 240. More Warwick nerfs are on the way to try and combat the power of top lane Warwick more significantly than jungle. Riot's going to be doing this by increasing the mana cost on Warwick's Q by 10 at all ranks. Now, of course, this is a nerf for jungle as well, but because jungle has much better mana sustain than top lane, it won't be as hard of a nerf. Twitch won't be synergizing quite as well with Axiom Arcanist anymore, as his R is going to be treated as AoE damage, which means he'll now only gain the 9% boost in damage instead of 14%. We've got some power being shifted around in Mel's kit for this patch, as her Q is going to be losing power with the missile speed dropping from 5,000 to 4,500. Q cast range is down as well from 1,000 to 950 units. W duration is being lowered from 1 to 0.75 seconds. W base reflect damage is dropping from 40 scaling to 70% to 40 scaling to 60%. W mana cost is going up from 60 to 80 at rank 1. E base damage is going to be increased from 60 scaling to 220 to 60 scaling to 240. EAP ratio is up as well from 50 to 60%. E root duration is down, going from 1.75 scaling to 2.25 seconds to 1.25 scaling to 2.25 seconds. And the final change is to Mel's RAP ratio per stack being increased from 2.5 to 3.5%. Diana jungle is going to be hit with a pretty heavy nerf, as her passive damage to monsters is dropping from 300 to 225%. Q base damage is going up by 10, while W base damage per orb is also up from 18 scaling to 66 to 20 scaling to 68. So if anything, do watch out for mid lane Diana in S1.4, as she's just straight up buffed while already being in a pretty good spot. We have some Elise changes that's going to keep support Elise pretty neutral, but should definitely buff Elise in the jungle. Passive Spiderling base damage is being increased from 8 scaling to 26 to 10 scaling to 40. Human form W base damage is dropping from 60 scaling to 240 to 60 scaling to 220. Human form WAP ratio is down as well from 95 to 75%. What will help Elise jungle out the most are these W buffs, as W spider form attack speed is being increased from 60 scaling to 100% to 60 scaling to 120%. W spider form cooldown is dropping from 10 to 6 seconds.
Okay guys, one last thing. Our rank up guarantee is absolutely insane. It's kind of like signing up for the gym and then just getting a refund if you don't get ripped. That's how confident we are in Steelcaps. We obsess over making the best guides with the top players, the rigorous testing, and top tier video editing to make your climb as easy as possible. If you're ready to level up, just visit skillcap.com and literally see the difference.
So there you have it, everyone. Those are all the changes for S1.4 that we can expect to hit live servers this upcoming Thursday, February 20th. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see ya in the next one.